Welcome to the Chris Craft Show. If you like this show, please rate, review, and subscribe to it on iTunes or wherever you choose to listen to this podcast. You're going to love today's show, especially if you're a real estate agent or a business owner. Our guest today is David Currie, our good friend in Northern Colorado who is doing amazing things in real estate and Christian missions. Now on to our show. Today on the Chris Craft Show, we welcome my friend David Currie. David is a newlywed husband and the team leader for Front Range Home Team in Northern Colorado. And most importantly, he's a follower of Jesus Christ. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me, man.
How have you been?
I've been awesome. Yeah, the last month or so has been a whirlwind, business and life and getting married, but I've been awesome. It's great.
So tell me about marriage and your first impressions. I know you all are, your eyes are still big, you know,
Yep.
and you're loving and hugging and kissing on each other, and that will continue. But tell me your impressions of marriage so far.
Yeah, you know, it's been a ton of fun. We were living about 45 minutes away from each other previously, so we were driving all the time right up until we got married. And so I think that's been the biggest relief is us normalizing life together and not have to get up at 8:30 o'clock and drive to the other person's house at night or something, you know. And so that's been a huge relief, actually living in the same place and exploring our days together. It's been a ton of fun. But yeah, it's been awesome.
Really cool, really cool. Yeah, we're 13 years in on this side.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. And 3 babies in.
Okay.
You know, so lean on my wisdom if you need some advice. Just definitely
Absolutely
hit up your buddy, and I'll let you know. Well, I'm a story guy. I love stories, and I want our listeners to learn about your story, David. So start as far back as you like, as comfortable as you want to go back, and tell us about David Currie.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually a farm kid, originally from Iowa. I grew up in a rural town of about 1,000 people, so pretty tiny background as far as growing up, but was invested in the community from the get-go. We did all kinds of sports growing up, and when you're in a town of 1,000, you're in music, you're in sports, you're in, you know, so many different avenues of life, 4-H, and you know, you're working for your parents, and so life like country rural farm boy was totally what I was. Went to Iowa State University. Got my undergrad in sports medicine, athletic training specifically, and then moved out to CSU, Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado, and did a grad assistantship with the football team and a couple of the swim teams. Yeah, and was an awesome experience. And that entire transition really kind of was a big challenge for me, and challenging, and not just my academia, but also my spiritual path, mental health path, and just understanding life in general. And it was huge to get out of home, because Ames is only an hour or two from home where I went to undergrad. And so getting out of that and moving into what real life is like was a big time challenge, but awesome challenge. From there, I worked at University of Colorado for a year with their football team, their volleyball team, lacrosse teams. And then I transitioned into Northern Colorado, here in Greeley, Colorado, and worked there for 2 years before transitioning into real estate.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So that move to Colorado, was it the career that warranted that move, or was it something, just a desire for you to get somewhere else? Yeah,
no, it was definitely a career move. You know, I was on the track of hopefully running a program someday, doing some sort of athletic training, collegiate athletic training for the foreseeable future. And, you know, I got to CSU to do a grad assistantship specifically to work in collegiate athletics, and then bounced around. I was actually at the University of Colorado doing a year-long fellowship, which is a year-long internship, paid internship. And then I ended up at University of Northern Colorado doing full-time athletic training. So definitely the move to Colorado was career-based, but has definitely kept me here and has changed a lot of just my outlook on life in general. So I'm pumped to be here. Who knows how long I'll be here, but it's Colorado right now, and I'll take it.
Hey, cool. Very cool. So we're going to talk about your transition to real estate soon, but what are some of the things you learned from sports medicine that still apply to life and business today?
Yeah, so many things actually. And I was just thinking about, I need to do some sort of Facebook post or something to thank people that were in the sports medicine world. Because I mean, when you're in sports medicine, you're definitely not on your clock. You're not on your own schedule, and so you're running on other people's time. And I think being able to get up at 4 o'clock and be in the training room by 4:30, 4:45, 5 o'clock has benefited me in my own business in so many aspects.
I could see that.
Just for self-discipline reasons. I mean, I remember getting up at University of Colorado. We would be in the training room by 4:45, 5 o'clock. But we would stay there until 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, sometimes during two-a-days. And so like those days were long and hard, but it also helps me value the time that I have now in my current career, but also how to utilize it too when I'm in the heat of things.
Wow, that's really cool. Mm-hmm. Did you get to see the buffalo up front and personal?
Oh yeah, I saw Ralphie run a bunch of times. Yeah, Ralphie's crazy. Get out of the way, man.
That's insane. I can't believe it. That's insane. I went to Georgia Tech, and we have a car driven onto the field, so it's not. I mean, it's a neat thing, but nothing like a buffalo raging at you.
Oh man, you feel it. You feel him like hitting the ground as she's running. It's pretty intense. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the transition, because I came in contact with you because of maybe some kind of marketing that I had going on, and I learned about your real estate career. So tell me about that transition from sports medicine to real estate. Yes,
the initial kind of goal for me, I was finishing up year 2 at University of Northern Colorado, and I thought, I want to have some time to be able to go and do either local mission work or foreign mission work, and do some ministries. It didn't really care to me where or when, but I needed to have a flexible schedule to do so. And that was something that really hampered me. And actually what triggered it was, I think it was 2015, the spring of 2015, there was an earthquake in Nepal where there was a lot of issues in Nepal. And so the church that I was going to at the time has several sister churches in Nepal. And so I really wanted to go, but I just couldn't get away from my job. And it started to stimulate a lot of thinking of what can I be doing that allows me to just pick up and leave for a week, and trust other people with my business. And so from there, I thought, all right, what's my best ROI on how much do I have to pour into education versus how much can I receive? And I thought, well, real estate's obviously a big win, and you can do it quickly and get into it. And if you're disciplined, then it can really bode well for you.
Really cool. Now, do you work with both buyers and sellers, or do you focus on one side more than the other?
Definitely both. And since I'm the team leader up here, I definitely am doing both.
There you go.
And so, we do bring on buyer's agents or just have listing agents in some categories. So like in Denver, we have our hub is in Denver, and we have a buyer's agent, we have a listing agent aside from the team leader down there. And so as we continue to grow up here, I'll continue to bring in more of those. But right now it's just me and crushing listings and buyers. So, yep.
So talk to me about your matriculation from agent to team leader. How did that all come about? Obviously, you're a hard worker and you're good at what you do.
Yeah.
But just talk to our listeners through that, David.
Sure. Well, I started off as just a single agent in the Fort Collins, Greeley, Loveland area, and enjoyed it. Like there was nothing wrong with doing that. But the value that I saw of this current team that I'm on, there were two reasons why I thought it was a big deal to join them. And for one, I got out of sports medicine so I could get into the mission work and mission fields and start to not only just provide my time, but provide financial support to a lot of those. And Dave Umphris, who heads the Front Range Home Team, has already been doing that. He's been doing that for 3 or 4 years. And so when we sat down and I talked to Dave initially about a year ago now, that was my biggest challenge and biggest question for him was how do we support missions locally and globally through our real estate team? And the goal is to almost be a nonprofit real estate team, to basically be a 501c3 that encourages giving through every closing, through every transaction that we do. We're funding local missions and foreign missions and adopting communities in Mozambique or things like that, which we've done in the past. So for me, I thought to myself, well, my current single agent status is 5 years away from where we're at as a team right now. And I thought, I don't want to wait that long. I'm going to do this right now. And
Come on, let's get it.
Yeah, exactly. The faster, the better. And Dave's already on it. We're already starting to make that 501c3 come to life. And so, with that, this has been a growing experience for me in trying to understand what this team includes, and then trying to grow it up here too. Yeah.
Oh, that is really, really neat. I didn't know that your faith and your business were that intertwined. From top down. That is really, really cool. Yep. That's a unique situation. You're blessed.
Absolutely. And Dave's a fantastic guy, Dave Umphris. And I wouldn't have linked arms in business with a guy that I didn't think was moving towards the mission and vision that I thought was important. And so to have a collective unit and a collective vision is really sweet.
Now, when most people think about Colorado, the first thing they think about is Denver. And I know your company is based in Denver. But tell us about Northern Colorado and just the unique quality of life up there.
Yeah, Fort Collins has been, ranked in the top 10 places to live for the last 7 or 8 years. It's been booming especially in real estate, but in population as well. We've been seeing 2, 3, 4% growth over the last 5 to 7 years since Fort Collins started getting on all those top 10 lists and things like that. But it's a really stunning area. And, something that I'm thankful for is the winters aren't so harsh as they are in Iowa. But yet I've got mountains to go hit a snowboard with or do something. And so it's truly a beautiful place that I value. I think it's an incredible. I'm only 45 minutes from a mountainside in Greeley, which is a little bit further from the foothills than Fort Collins is. But I can hop on a road and be on a mountain in an hour without any issues.
That's really cool. Now, I must admit, I've never been skiing before. Okay. So I will have to start off where all the little kids are,
Been there, done that, man.
Take some classes and just work my way in slowly.
Yep. No, I started when I was 18, so I get it. Yep.
So tell me about your faith walk and more your testimony and your walk with Christ and where that all began and where you are now. Sure.
Yeah. My spiritual walk has been an up and down road, just as I'm sure everybody else's has. Was very involved in youth groups growing up, and went to college, and I kind of said, nah, I'm good for a while. I don't need to be going to church. Don't need to be doing any of that. Don't need to have community. And luckily, by the blessing of God, had some awesome roommates, and we. It wasn't like the best spiritual community you could possibly ask for, but we didn't allow ourselves to fall off the face of the earth and do the most ridiculous things that I could have done. Moving out to CSU was a big challenge for me because I lost a lot of community, and I was so invested in working that I didn't really know how to go about that. Was in a relationship at the time. That relationship split up between the 2 years that I was at CSU for grad school. And that impacted me a lot to go and push and pursue and find community, but also find community that valued faith and showed it in a daily walk. Because I think that's something that I really struggled to see in college and growing up in people my age growing up was where people that are going to walk with Christ and show how that influences their daily decisions, their ability to show grace, their ability to forgive. And I found that in some awesome people at CSU. My closest friends are Fellowship of Christian Athletes in their ministry on campus, and Athletes in Action ministry on campus, and places where, being in sports medicine, I was maybe more privy to that stuff than the normal person hanging around Fort Collins, because I had my foot in the door with actually athletes that invited me to go to Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And so it was an incredible community that I got brought into by some of the athletes that I was hoping to actually influence. And so it ends up going backwards, and you learn so much more from the people that you start to hang around all the time. But that was, is that 7 years ago now? 2011, so 6-7 years ago. Even my life is completely different than it was then.
Oh, God works in amazing ways.
Yep.
So do you still work out? Are you still involved in, exercise or athletics in any way?
Absolutely. Yeah. I usually hit the gym by about 5:45, 6 o'clock. And that's just a stimulant for my day usually. So,
that's good.
all my athletic training stuff was actually more on the sports medicine, physical therapy, injury diagnosis and prevention side of things. And we worked hand in hand with a lot of strength and conditioning coaches over the years. And so I've learned a ton from them. But I think even since I've left athletic training, I've gone way more to the strength and conditioning side of things when I go and work out. Like I'm definitely much more I don't want to say Olympic lifting and that sort of stuff, but that's definitely where my head goes to nowadays because I don't have any injuries, which is a good thing.
There's a fellow that I'll be interviewing on the show here soon, and he has a show for youth coaches. And just that whole industry is booming, and you hope it's booming for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of value in teaching the power of practice, and for our case, the power of prayer and practice, and preparing you for not only athletic pursuits but business pursuits as well. So let's talk business. Let's talk about your unique approach to real estate and how you go about serving your clients. And so tell us how you go about that and how you encourage and inspire your team to excellence.
Sure. I think that we at the Front Range Home Team just enjoy selling real estate. I'm not sure if the business practices of us sitting down and writing a contract and negotiating are going to be much different than the majority of the people that you run into that buy or sell real estate. But what I think we bring to the table is an incredible amount of value for knowing where that money that you're spending on that transaction is going. And it's not only just going to the pocket of the guy that's writing your contracts. I mean, there's thousands of people that can do that for you, but understanding the value that we bring to our local community, the foreign missions and ministries that are going to be impacting people's lives across the world. That's what I want to sit down and share with people is that we're reaching for bigger and better things. That's how we feel like we bring something to the table for everybody.
That's really cool. And so say, you're serving someone who might not even necessarily believe in Christ or anything. How are they affected by your mission? Because I'm sure you come in contact with that from time to time.
Absolutely. And, I think that the biggest thing that maybe brings people together that maybe aren't believers, they see people that are willing to go out and push and give and be generous. I think all people are drawn to teams like that.
Agreed.
And I mean, what can it hurt? It can't hurt them to be partnered with somebody that's going to go out and continue to encourage and uplift people around the world.
Wow. Now, as far as the numbers, how have things gone as far as growth, like the number of agents on your team, the number of deals you've been closing year after year? That's not the most important thing, but how are things improving in that area of your business?
Yeah, it's going really well. So the number of agents on our team as a whole, collectively, I think we're up to maybe 11 or 12 now. And so the mission of our team is obviously to grow, but to grow within a means of bringing people onto the team that are in line with the mission and vision of our team.
Very good.
So it maybe doesn't grow as fast as a normal real estate team. Because I mean, some people will bring on agents so fast, 10, 12, 15 people in a year. And we've been at about 5 or 6 for the last 12 months. And then the last 3 or 4 months, we've kind of ramped up and added some more people. But before that, before I got on the team, I'd closed 2 deals in my first 6 months, 7 months, 8 months in business. Since March of this past year, we'll close about 14 up here in northern Colorado, and close a little over 4 million in volume, so about 4.5 million in closed volume, which is, I mean, your average agent closes 6 deals a year. The average person that gets into real estate is out in the first. 90% of them are done in the first year. So I feel like getting through year number 1, getting through year number 2 is important in this business, which I feel like I've accomplished. But continuing to strive to see what we can do to give in our communities and outside our communities is really our big why and our goal.
Really neat. You hear that, listeners? Persistence pays. We're on with David Currie. This is the Chris Craft Show. And the other interesting thing, I really like the point that you made about you guys might not grow as quickly as some other agencies or firms out there, strictly because of your mission, and the fit has to be right. You have to have the right people on the bus. But the other point that I find really cool from an eternal perspective is that the impact and the things that you're giving into, those are some things that we might not even see the impact until eternity, until glory, until we're gone from here. And that's one, inspiring, and two, encouraging as well. So y'all keep up the good work. Come on now,
Absolutely.
that's awesome.
Thanks, man. Yep.
My mind is blown. I haven't heard anything like this. So if anyone's looking to purchase or sell in northern Colorado or in between, do you all service the whole state of Colorado?
Yeah. So I really handle a lot of the northern Colorado stuff, which is Denver north of Denver, so Fort Collins, Longmont, Loveland, Greeley. Right. We have a team in Denver that houses Denver and the major suburbs, and then we have another team down in Colorado Springs that handles a lot of transactions down in Colorado Springs too.
Very cool. Now, for people who are looking to get into the real estate industry, what are some tips that you can offer them? Because you've been through the whole timeline, from solo now to being a leader of a team. So what kind of advice can you give?
Yeah, I think that take it at your own pace and understand that, real estate is a long-term game. And people go into real estate with the expectation that they're going to do really well really quickly, which can happen. It definitely can happen, especially if you have a fruitful sphere that can turn over and create business for you. But I would say that not everybody's sphere acts like that. And so it's a long-term play for sure. And to understand that and understand that the work that you put in will eventually turn over, it might just take some time. But to be persistent in not only that, but even way before that, when you're starting to get your education, maybe you're in a part-time job or a full-time job, to just keep plugging, because having your real estate license is not only a plus as an agent, but it's a plus when you sell your own house. It's a plus when you buy your own house.
Come on now. That's right.
It's a plus as an investor. I mean, so many of those things are really important. And that's what I thought. I thought maybe I'll get into this. I won't like it, but let's say that I fail. I still have a license that allows me to invest in real estate as I walk down this path of life, and save myself money. So to me, when I was doing a full-time job, I spent, an hour or two every night for, it was probably about 8 weeks, 10 weeks, just cranking through videos online and taking some tests and completing coursework. And then I went and took the test and got it done and moved into real estate. So, I mean, it's about persistent, both in the education standpoint, but understanding too that when you get into the business, take it with a long-term perspective and learn from as many people as you can, because you want to do things your own way as an agent to set yourself apart, but yet there's something about the real estate market where you're not going to necessarily reinvent the wheel. There's all kinds of new advertising and marketing and things that you can spend your money on, but if you can't talk to the people that you know about buying and selling real estate, it's going to be really tough to succeed.
Wow. And what's the relationship with Keller Williams?
Sure. So Keller Williams, I mean, we're the largest agent count firm in the world. And so we're based out of Dallas, and we have agents everywhere. I'm not sure how many different countries we have them in, but they're everywhere.
Huge. Yeah.
Yep. Enormous company. I think we've got 180,000 agents worldwide. And, I think that Keller Williams allows us to really be flexible in how we do our business model and how we run our team. And one thing that I really value is it allows you to brand. It allows you to go out and do things like podcasts and stuff like that, where a lot of smaller brokerages want you to sit down and focus on your 9-to-5 business practices and things like that, when in reality, this brand that we have needs to be nurtured, and it can flourish if you do it the right way with the right people doing the right things. And so I think that's something that's really, really neat that Keller Williams allows us to do, is go explore avenues, yet don't try to reinvent the wheel.
Really cool. I'm about to introduce you to Haro Session in Greenville, South Carolina. You might know him already, but we'll be having him on the show, so I have to offline. Awesome. We'll talk about that. Yeah. Well, really cool. I've learned so much in this interview. Like I told you offline, I'm blessed more than anybody by getting here and learning and helping our listeners renew their mind. Romans 12. And so tell people how they can get in contact with you if they're interested in buying or selling in Northern Colorado, or just interested in learning more about you?
Yeah, they can always just give me a call. My number is 970-290-4555. And I mean, that's the quickest, easiest, best way. They can text me at that. They can call me at that. And I'd love to just chat with them, whether that's about real estate, about life and giving, what our mission is as a real estate team. I mean, I think those things I'll never schedule in too little time for that. I think that's something that I can always do more of. So people just, shoot me a call or shoot me an email, curriehomes@kw.com. But yeah, those are the best ways to contact me.
And Currie is Currie.
Correct. Yep.
Got it.
Yep. The Scottish version of Currie. Yep.
Well, brother, I thank you so much for this time, and let's bring you back on a little bit later. Maybe you'll write a book or something, man.
Dude, I mean, I might be having you on a podcast here eventually.
Really cool.
Thanks, Chris, man. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Take care. If you enjoyed today's show, please give us a 5-star review and subscribe on iTunes. I'd be ever so grateful. Contact the show anytime via email with your questions, comments, ideas, and prayer requests at love@chriscraftshow.com. That's LOVE@chriscraftshow.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 855-932-7263. Please indicate if you like your email or voicemail read or played during the show. And remember, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. God bless.